Surprise, surprise. I am your guest host today, not Erica Chan. It is Jonathan Coleman with Alibaba.com. I am honored to be hosting this special edition of Transformer Talks. If you can see, we don't just have one amazing guest. We have three amazing guests with us. They're not just any three amazing guests either. They're three entrepreneurs who received grants through the Alibaba.com grants program. So if you're unfamiliar with the program, Alibaba.com gave away $500,000 last year to 50 recipients who produced innovative products or creative go-to-market strategies. 50 people got $10,000 cash to bring their business to the next level, kickstart their product idea, do whatever they needed to do to make their dreams come true. We like to think we played a little bit of a part in that, and we are honored to do so. Huge shout out, thank you to Erica and the team for letting me host today. It is an honor beyond words. I'm not even going to try to explain it. The Alibaba.com grants program was jam-packed. If you're familiar with it, more than 12,000 people applied for the grant in just a few weeks. We had a team of esteemed judges go through all the applications. They were entrepreneurs. They were e-commerce experts. They had to pick the final 50 out of 12,000 plus. And we have three of those final 50 here today. These aren't just any three of the final 50 either. These are all Black entrepreneurs who are trying to uplift the community, shine a light on Black culture with their brand, their products, their mission statements. We're going to get to know them right now. I will introduce them. We have Matt Jones from Crease Piece. What's going on, man? We have Rojas from Vanessa Couture. How are you?
Good, thank
you.
You
have Nick Yeast from the Ricardo collection, the Nick Ricardo collection. Welcome to the Big Apple, man.
Thank you.
Yes, so let's get into this. What we loved so much about all of your guys' products and your brand visions were that you really tried to uplift the Black community, shine a light on Black culture, and you had specific ways of doing it. One of the ways was getting people to take pride and embrace their identities. It was a cool thing, so I think we can start with you, Nick, first. Tell us about your Nick Ricardo collection. This is a gender-neutral fragrance collection that you started. I think you said you grew up Black and queer in small-town Kentucky, and this is how you were able to own your own identity. So tell us a little bit how you got into fragrances, how this made you feel, gave you a sense of pride, and what you're doing with the brand today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, so I started the Nick Ricardo collection back in 2018. I took a solo trip to South Korea, visit this beautiful village, stumbled across this fragrance making class, and decided that when I went and I created my own fragrance, that I wanted to take this home and do something with it. So I just started to start a gender neutral fragrance line, basically just to honor the legacy of just how I was brought up. Born and raised in small town Kentucky, Black and queer, trying to search for my own identity, and fragrance was that identity for me. I used to get a lot of compliments on my fragrances that I did wear. So when I decided to start my own brand, I wanted to speak to my community. I just believe that everyone should have a voice, everyone should have an identity, and fragrance was that for me. So currently right now, I just moved here to New York City as of yesterday. So I'm super excited, and I'm just going to be out here networking my brand and just see where it goes. But the last 2 years have just been phenomenal, and I wouldn't change that for the world. And it's definitely boosted my confidence, especially when I didn't have that much confidence growing up. But this brand that I started here is doing that for me. So I'm excited to be here.
Nice. That's awesome. Now, if somebody goes to your website and they're trying to, boost their confidence and they don't know what fragrance to wear, what do they do? Do they just do like eeny, meeny, miny, mo and pick one, or do you have a plan for that?
Well, yeah. So on my website, I have the BU sample pack. So I have 4 fragrances in my collection. And with that sample pack, you're able to kind of decide which one works best for you. And then when you do purchase the full-size bottle, you actually get a 15% off discount off a full-size bottle by purchasing the BU sample pack on my website.
Awesome. I love that. BU sample pack. That's perfect for, anybody that needs to know who they want to be, step into their own identity. That's perfect. Thank you for that little story. Ada Rojas, let's go to you. Vanessa Couture, I love this. I think you once described yourself as a Black girl who's also Dominican and knows Spanish. I know Vanessa Couture is very, very big on uplifting the Afro-Latina community. Tell us a little bit how you got into that. Why do you want to uplift the Afro-Latina community? Why do you think that's important? And how do you incorporate that into your brand and your products?
Yeah, so I started Vanessa Couture in 2016 because my online community was always asking me about the robes that I was wearing on my Snapchat, on my Instagram stories. And I just started sending them out the links to the robes that I would buy. And they started to buy these robes. And this hashtag Bata Gang came about. And, you know, for those of you who don't speak Spanish, the word Bata is a Black Latina term for like a muumuu, right? It's what we call our version of a muumuu. Our grandmothers wore muumuus. They were batas. When my great grandmother passed away, we actually were all fighting over which one of her batas we were going to keep. So this brand really came about from a sense of honoring the past matriarchs in your lineage, but also understanding that you are a future matriarch because of all the sacrifices that, you know, your grandmother made, your mother made. To a lot of us are first generation. And, you know, that experience feels very lonely because you're very grateful for their sacrifices, but you're also leveraging the new opportunities that you have here in America. And you're the first person in your family to go to college. You're the first person in your family to work corporate or make six figures or be an entrepreneur. And it can feel very lonely. So Vanessa Couture is really all about uplifting and highlighting ourselves as a future matriarchs while we're honoring the past matriarchs. And
Awesome.
so a big part of the community component is really, as I learn in entrepreneurship, I'm sharing that with my community. It's so important for us to remain together and share that knowledge because, again, this experience can be very lonely. It's really difficult to explain to people that, yes, you can be Black and be Latina too. I'm a Black girl that speaks Spanish. And so I just feel very honored to be able to hold space for the women in our community and, you know, be able to connect them through a luxurious garment. So when they're at home, they feel great.
Awesome. Thank you for that story. I've checked out the website. Those are nice lounge wear. They look so comfortable. I feel comfortable just looking at them. So vecina, I think you said means neighbor in Spanish. Do you incorporate any symbolism from African culture into your products as well to get them both in there?
Absolutely. So as a Black Latina, I'm so proud to be Black, and there's so much symbolism and intention in all of our garments. So on the hand tag of all of our garments, in the back, there is an akan symbol that represents the kola nut, which represents commerce in our communities, in the Black communities, specifically in Ghana. And it says abundance is your birthright. So every robe that we create actually has an energy attached to it. They're infused with Reiki. So this robe is infused with abundance so that when you actually put it on, you feel abundant, you feel luxurious. So this brand is very intentional.
Nice. Thank you. I love that. Let's go to Matt Jones, Crease Piece. I love this product. This is a foam insert that goes on the top front half of your foot, and it fills up that negative space in the front of the foot. So it prevents creases in your shoes. We all know sneakerheads are all over the world, but it's definitely a community that was born out of Black culture. So tell me, how did you get into the sneakerhead community, and any stories about, you know, buying your first pair of sneakers, the pride you felt when you did that, and why do you think this product is important for the community?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a pleasure to be a part of this panel, for starters. But yeah, for me, growing up a sneakerhead, born in the late 80s, growing up in the early 90s, Jordan was the thing. Everybody wanted to be like Mike. So everybody gravitated towards all the Jordan shoes, basketball. Everybody in the community was a basketball player, sports oriented, loved shoes. So Jordan 4 Bread was like my favorite shoe of all time. It's one of the classic silhouettes that is being re-released year upon year just because it's so popular. And that particular shoe, I knew I had to get it at some point. And once I was able to, my mom was able to afford it, I was getting good grades. I was like, you know what, I'll get you these shoes. Yeah. I felt a sense of entitlement and I felt empowered when I had them. Like I was among my group of friends and they would always compliment me on my shoes. And, you know, whenever you get those compliments, no matter how subtle they may be, it gives you a sense of empowerment. You feel confident. You can do anything you feel like sometimes when you get the right compliment. So that's the basis of the Crease Piece. We're the people who are self-conscious about their shoes, how they look, any fashion-oriented self-consciousness. We want to eliminate that. Crease is a big thing for people in the shoe community. Some people don't even wear their shoes at all. They'll keep them on ice for years. and not wear them because they don't want to crease them up. So this goes to the essence of the sneakerheads. You know, we're trying to protect the aesthetic appeal of their shoes, also give them the confidence they need to walk in any room and feel confident enough that they belong. And that was the sense that I got when I created this product. You know, I wanted the people who don't feel as confident to be confident when they're actually wearing these products, because they can enter any room, they can feel confident in any area. And that was the essence of it. You know, when I got my Jordan 4s, I felt I can go in any room and I was on top of the world. So I want to give that same feeling to the sneakerheads who buy my product.
Nice. I love that. And was there a story like how'd you get the Jordan 4s? Did you have to stand in line or do anything like that to get them?
Yes, absolutely. So back in the day, everybody would just line up outside of stores to get shoes. Like, it was no raffles, no reservations. You just had to stand in line for hours in. And this particular shoe, I had to wait outside of a mall to get, because the mall wouldn't allow people to line up. So people were just in the parking lot just waiting, stacked. So it was like hundreds of people. So once the mall let everybody line up, everybody just ran to the mall. Like, it was like a big stampede. And I got one of the golden tickets, thankfully, after waiting from midnight to 8 a.m. in the morning for these shoes. I got them, and it was. I felt so joy, you know, having them in my hands. Like, it was all worth the wait. It was exhilarating just being a part of it. So, and I know all the sneakerheads feel the same way when they get that fresh pair of shoes they've been admiring for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. And after you stand in line for 8 hours, the last thing you want to do is ruin those sneakers. So I love this product, the Crease Piece. Thank you guys for those stories. I love how you guys are, you know, having people take pride and embrace their identity through your brands and your products. Another thing that we liked about your brands and products is that you talked about that generational lineage that you want to strengthen. You want to honor the past and push forward the generations, carry on tradition, make sure that identity stays strong. So let's talk a little bit about that. We'll go back to you, Nick. Tell me, what is the name of your collection? Where did you get the name from? And why did you think that was an appropriate name for your brand?
Sure thing. You know, when kind of deciding what I wanted to name my brand, of course, you know, I was, you know, at the drawing board. I was like, should I name it this? Should I name it that? And then I just remembered what my father always said. He says, you know, you have in his words, you have a heavy name on your shoulder. So coming from a small town, my last name, Yeast, is very big in sports in Kentucky. And I'm named after my father. He's Nick Ricardo Yeast the first, and I'm Nick Ricardo Yeast the second. And he always said, you know, be who you are, be you, don't be anyone else but yourself. So when deciding to start my gender neutral fragrance brand, I was like, well, this brand is really my passion project. This is my baby. This speaks to me, and I know it will speak to others. I decided to name it the Nick Ricardo Collection in honor of the legacy of my father and I. So that's why I named it, you know, the Nick Ricardo Collection. And my father and my mother started a restaurant years ago. We no longer have the restaurant, but entrepreneurship a little bit was kind of in our blood. So when I started the brand, I was just like, you know, I want to take this, and this is what's going to break, you know, the generational wealth curse in our family in due time. So it just makes sense to name it after my family.
I love it. And you said it's a big name in sports. Your father's like a big football guy, I think, if I remember. What was it like when you came out to him, this big guy that plays football his whole life?
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And actually, you know, a lot of people in the Black and queer community don't have stories like mine. I'm actually very blessed and very fortunate to have come out to my big macho dad who's in the Football Hall of Fame, and I've had cousins in the NFL. So whenever I did come out to my dad, he looked at me, and he was actually, let me go back a little bit. He was actually a little upset with me because when I did come out with him, he says, I said, Dad, I was really nervous about coming out to you because I was afraid that you would hate me. And it was that really set my dad off to be like, how could I ever hate my blood? You're my son. I will never hate you no matter what. Love who you love, be you. And that was the best experience that I could honestly really have, because we hear those stories in the Black and queer community of, you know, the family, you know, turned them away. But I'm so grateful I did not have that story. So I'm able to tell a story and shine a light that, yes, if we're in the Black community, you can come out gay or pansexual, whatever you are, and you can have stories like we see on TV sometimes. So
thank you for sharing that story. Perfect person to name your brand after. I love that story. Ada, let's go to you. I know you just touched upon this, and I know carrying on generational tradition and pushing it forward to the next generation is a big thing for Vanessa Couture. How did that become so big in your life? Was there any stories, any people in your life that made you say, I need to honor these people and put that at the forefront of my brand?
Well, yes, my great grandmother, like I said, when she passed, we were all fighting for her moo-moos. We all wanted to keep it. We wanted to keep her small within us. And, you know, it was her favorite garment to wear. I have so many photos of her cooking in her kitchen. You know, she lived, we come from a very small beach town in the Dominican Republic. It's on the northern coast, and she lived in a small house that my great grandfather actually was able to build because he won the lottery. And so it was a small house with a tin shed, and you would see her making coffee in the kitchen, cooking, setting out the dinner table in all of her robes. And so this is just such a beautiful garment. And I thought, what better way to honor the garment within our community, right? Whether you're a Black Latina or you're African American, the muumuu is such a staple in our mother's wardrobe, and really to honor yourself. And, you know, I see these garments, me passing them down to my daughter, to my, you know, goddaughters. It's this legacy, right? And so even with the name Vecina Couture, Vecina means neighbor in Spanish. And that's what our community is when you live in New York and you grow up in New York, all your neighbors are like family, right? The lady in apartment 4D made your cakes. Your cousin lives in apartment 5B. Like, everyone is a tight-knit community. So that's where the name came from. And couture, because as Black women, we deserve nice things. We deserve luxurious things. And so all of our pieces are limited edition. And I really just want to continue to push our community to take up space, especially in these more luxurious spaces. The spa, you can wear your robe to the spa. Like, I really want to see Black women take up more space because we deserve nice things.
I like that. Thank you for telling that story. That's an amazing story. I love hearing about your great grandmother working around the house while she's wearing the robe, because that's really, it's really textbook definition of your product. It's not just a beautiful, luxurious product, but you said it's functional too. And that's what you were truly trying to make it. So you can cook, you can clean, you can make sure your stuff's not going to get dirty. I really do enjoy that. Matt Jones, Crease Piece, tell me, I think you said you extended your family recently. So you have a lot of motivation to keep this thing going. Like, what inspires you? What motivates you to keep going?
Yeah, absolutely. I just had a son last year, so it was a big motivation for me to pursue my intuition. That was the biggest thing for me. Like, growing up, working retail throughout my whole life, I was always looking for an outlet because I knew that wouldn't be sustainable for generational wealth. So I knew that I had to create something on my own. I didn't know what it was back in my early 20s, but I was trying every other thing, real estate, transportation services. I tried multiple businesses before I actually, fell upon the Crease Piece, because I linked up with one of my friends from middle school, and he had the same kind of ideals. He wanted to create generational wealth from his family. He's Latino, raised, Hispanic, poor community. So we had similar backgrounds, and we wanted to create a tradition for our families to where, you don't have to just do the norm. You can live outside the box. You can pursue your dreams, because the moment you start pursuing your intuition, things start to happen, even though you probably don't even see it initially, but your faith can open up doors for you. And that's essentially what happened with us. We were able to come together within a year to put this together, and we're building the foundational blocks for generational wealth now, because we own this 100%. And it's all about ownership, putting ownership in our communities and our child's hands, passing on a legacy as opposed to passing along debt. So those things motivate me every single day to continue to build and not be satisfied with just the status quo, and to continue to set the right example for the people in my family who look up to me. And Crease Piece is so far is successful, and it's doing that, and I can't be more appreciative than I am now.
Nice. Thank you. And I know you're trying to create generational wealth and also be a role model for all the younger people, the nieces and the nephews in your family who look up to you. It's an awesome thing to be an entrepreneur. I think we'll go with the next question there. I'll start with Ada this time, switch things up. What does it mean? What do you love about being an entrepreneur and running your own company? Like, what does being an entrepreneur for you mean? And what's your favorite thing about running your own company?
I love that every day is not the same. I have a lot of energy. I get excited when I have to face new challenges, even though they're not always fun. But I just love that no day is the same. I love connecting with new people. I am a big people person, and I just feel so grateful to have such amazing relationships in the industry and in the business. And, you know, the freedom that I have to really pursue my passions wholeheartedly, to really bet on myself, to pursue my creativity, to be able to create generational wealth, to be able to support other women in my community by giving them employment and hiring them as freelancers, right? There's so much that I love about entrepreneurship, and I just wouldn't have it any other way. Like, if I have to sell pastelitos on the corner for, like, you know, because this doesn't work out, that's what I'm going to do, because that's how much I love being an entrepreneur.
Nice. Let's go with you, Nick. Same question. What do you love about being an entrepreneur?
I wake up every morning and I'm like, yes, a Black person is out here doing the thing again. Here we are. It's the freedom, it's the creativity. I absolutely just love being able to make connections and establishing relationships with people. And honestly, you know, a lot of times they tell us, you know, to maybe tone down who you are a little bit. But as an entrepreneur, as a Black queer entrepreneur, when I come into the room, I deserve to be at this table just as much as you do. So just knowing that, sitting with that, honoring that is more than I could ever ask for.
Nice. That is amazing. That is a great feeling. Thank you for that. What about you, Matt? What are your favorite things about being an entrepreneur? What's your day-to-days like?
To piggyback on what Ed and Nick said, just the freedom. Like, I worked so long, 15 plus years within a schedule, even though I was able to create my schedule, you know, a lot of times, but I still had to operate within somebody else's means. So now that I have the freedom to do what I want, I can be as creative as I want. I can make any decision, any executive decisions I want. I don't have to ask anybody for permission. And just that sense of ownership, it means the world, because when you're having to work under someone, it's not a bad thing, because you're learning, you're gaining experience. But at the same time, if you aspire for more and you feel you can be in that position of ownership, then it's best to pursue it, because you never know what the path is going to create for you. So, you know, just having that freedom to not having to be constrained to a schedule is the biggest thing for me, because I'm able to keep that work and family life balance also and be successful and not have to do it within an actual tight-knit schedule. I mean, that means the most for me.
That's amazing. That is great. Just to reiterate again, the Alibaba.com grants program, this is what we were searching for. People like you, we're calling it the entrepreneur economy. We're past the great resignation. We're past the gig economy. We're looking for people that want to really carve their own path in life, have that freedom to do what they want to do, be who they want to be. And you guys fully embody that. That's why we love all of your stories and your brands. This is a global audience here, thousands of people watching. People are thinking about starting their own company. People are thinking about quitting their jobs and carving their own lane and being like you guys. Can you give them one piece of advice, inspiration, motivation? You guys have been through it. You know the deal. You fell down. You've picked yourself back up. What's one piece of advice you want to give to the budding entrepreneur out there? We will start with you, Matt, this time.
Perseverance is everything. You know, don't let one or two roadblocks stop you from thinking what you know is right. If you feel in your heart that the path that you're pursuing is right and it's meant for you, pursue it, by all means. Like, no matter what's in your way, find a way to get past it, because entrepreneurs before you have found a way to clear those roadblocks. So, draw that, energy from the past, people who've been successful, and model that for yourself to be successful. Always persevere, because the moment you give up is the moment you're going to regret, not fully pursuing. And for me, if I would have gave up multiple years ago on failed ventures, I would never be where I'm at now. And perseverance is what brought me here. So I would say to any entrepreneur looking to pursue, follow your intuition like no other, just pursue it. Just, even if it's blind, you don't even know what you're doing. Just put yourself out there. Yes. You will start to meet people. Those connections will start to happen as you pursue.
And that's what they say. The first step that's all it takes, one step. What about you, Nick? What's your piece of advice for the budding entrepreneurs out there?
Patience. Just have patience and give yourself grace. kind of what Matt said, when you stumble across those roadblocks, don't give up. They're gonna come. So just have the patience. And also too, you already thought about it, which means it's already written for you. So continue on the path and just trust and allow, because if you already thought about it, I mean, it's meant for you. And just continue on the road and have patience and grace with yourself.
Nice. That's a great answer. Thank you for that. Ada, what's your one piece of advice for the budding entrepreneurs out there?
I will have to say failure does not exist. You're either going to succeed or you're going to learn a lesson. And the only failure that exists is you not trying. And I know for me personally, my biggest fear is regret. I don't want to be 80 years old sitting in a robe in my rocking chair wondering what would have happened if I would have launched that robe business. So the only failure is not trying.
Can it say it better? I mean, I need a t-shirt. You need to make a robe that says that. Only failure is not trying. That's a great lesson. Everybody should learn that, not just entrepreneurs. That's a great lesson for life. We still have some time here. If you guys can say one thing, give me one thing that you want people to know about your product really quickly. Let's go around. We will start with you, Matt. One thing. Tell me what's good about this product.
I mean, this product appeals to a large demographic from early teens to late 50s, early 60s. There's sneakerheads all over the world, different demographics, different backgrounds. So if you have a pair of sneakers that, you want to keep clean, you want to keep fresh, you fall under the category. So, and that's pretty much, that's a lot of people in the world. So a lot of people, want to make sure that they keep their stuff clean. And so we want to, put that message out there that Crease Piece is to give you that confidence that you can go anywhere.
True. I think this was one of the best products I've ever seen for preventing creases in the sneakers. This thing's going to blow up. Ada, what do we need to know about your product? Let us know.
Yes. So like I shared earlier, the product was made very intentional. We have cuff sleeves. So when you're washing your face, the water is not running down your arm. The waistband is actually attached to the robe, so you'll never lose it. And it cinches in your waist and gives you a hourglass silhouette. It has pockets, so you can even fit your phone as you're running around the house cleaning. It's multifunctional, so you can actually wear it outside of your home. And it just feels so luxurious on your body. And the slits on the bottom allow you to flow and move with the robe.
Nice. That's great. I mean, I need one of those things. They look very, very comfortable. Nick, what do we need to know about your product? Let us know.
Yeah, so my fragrances, of course, like I said, are all gender neutral. And our mission is to break those gender barriers in the beauty and cosmetic industry. So no matter who you are, I mean, if you like to smell good, then this is a brand that is tailored for you. If you are trans, non-binary, gender fluid, this is a brand that is tailored for you. So fragrance has no gender. Fragrance is just a free flow for anyone. And the products smell really great based on all the feedback that I've had from my customers over the year. So try it out and really enjoy it.
I love that. I don't understand, how did fragrance even get genders attached to them? Everything should just have a normal smell. Every fragrance is gender neutral. That is true.
It got lost over translation at some point in time, but cologne does not mean it's for men, and perfume does not mean it's for women. It's all about the alcohol and oil content, which makes it a cologne and a perfume. But that got lost in translation. No one knows that really.
Great chemistry lesson for everybody out there. Thank you. This has been a great discussion, guys. I have to mention that we are missing one person, Ariel Young from Copper and Brass Paper Goods. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it, but make sure you check out her brand. It is awesome. She is shining a light on Black people by using positive Black imagery on gift wrapping paper. She invented wrapping paper with a Black Santa Claus. I know most people don't usually see that. And she has a lot of licenses with all the HBCUs in the country. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here to discuss, but it's a great product and a great brand that's being used to uplift the community as well. But that is it for today. Thank you, guys. We are still at time. This is remarkable. I should have put money on this to see if I could do this. I can't believe this happened. This was a great discussion. Matt, Ada, Nick, I am looking forward and expecting to see big, big things from all of you guys in the future. I'm looking forward to getting some of these products myself. I am going to be smelling great, feeling very comfortable, and having no creases in my shoes the next time you guys see me. But that is it from Transformer Talks for today. I am your guest host for this very, very special edition of Transformer Talks. Make sure you follow us, share, comment, tell us what you don't like, what you do like, who you want to see next. And we will be back with more entrepreneurs telling their stories about their brands and their visions and what they're doing to make the world a better place. So thank you all. And until next time, take it easy.
Thank you, guys.